El zaguate, solo comi aguacate, es un perro vegano y no come carne, es el loquito, ya no come loquito.
All About Feeling Good is here. I'm so excited that you joined us. I've been so inspired by your videos. Thank you for sharing about raw foods and detox. You are already very knowledgeable, so to even get a question from you is just such an honor. So what are your thoughts on eating higher amounts of high fatty raw foods, keeping it to only coconuts, avocados, and maybe some raw hemp seeds, flax, and chia? Woo! Great question.
That sounds very balanced, actually. Oh, you want me to go first again? Okay.
I love that you're answering. It is your channel.
Well, this is a team effort, so hopefully you'll share your thoughts on this too. But for me, what I want to share is that I think what you're saying, Richard, all about feeling good, is a very balanced approach to using the high-fat foods, especially because you're leaving out the heavier nuts. And coconut, I feel coconut is a human food. I think it's brain food and brain fuel. And I think those things are very important for a balanced diet for the long term. So I think it depends on your goals. Are you guys all there? Jin froze. Hopefully everything's okay. Let me just make sure. Everything good? It just froze for a second. So I feel do you guys hear me? Jin, you hear me? Okay, you're good. Okay, so Richard hears me. So I think if you're trying to cleanse, like an 80-10-10 diet, which is a low-fat, high-carbohydrate diet, or something on the lower fat end is really important for cleansing to go through that period. But if you're trying to sustain, especially in the winter, I think fats are really good to use to sustain a raw diet. I'd rather use a living fat in the winter than a cooked carbohydrate. I can't hear you, Jin. It's muted for some reason on your end. Or did something happen to me? Everyone hears me. Anyways, it looks like everyone still hears me. And yeah, so I think fats are good for sustenance and for long-term success, and low fat is good for cleansing. But I know a lot of people that are on the low fat end and they don't really do hardly any fats, just a little bit, that 10% range, and they are also good at sustaining a long-term diet. So it depends on the person, it depends on your priorities. Jin, do you have any comments on that? Oh, I think Jin or Jeanette is frozen. Oh, so Jin got disconnected, but I think y'all hear me. She might be having some issues. Let's get her back. Yeah, so hopefully that answers your question, and Jin can add some more. I plan to do more, like I was saying, coconut yogurts. I want to get more into that because I think it's more absorbable, whereas nuts are more heavy on the system. But avocados, coconut, I feel that's all like baby food and really absorbable by the system. So what do you think, Jin?
Yeah,
hey,
I know.
I just saying hi to Sophia who tuned in, my friend in Poland.
Hey, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being here with us. You know, this call wouldn't be possible without all you guys. Your time is a privilege. So thank you so much for spending it with us. We won't go too much longer, maybe about 15 more minutes. But again, we like to kind of see what's the divine order of things. So we're open and flexible. But yeah, in regards to the question about the heavier fats, you know, I always kind of ask that same question. I actually asked Dr. Morse that same question in person in my first class that I attended, and he's so cute. He's like, "Oh, you're from Canada?" He goes, "Yeah, you know, his answer is, in the colder months, you can go a little bit higher lipids and protein, because through the digestion process, these are like heavier, more dense foods. Of course, they're going to slow your detox because of that. But by digesting these foods, like, you know, your body takes that time and energy, it kind of can give you the sense that like you feel warmer. But in my experience, you know, feeling a little bit cold sometimes, like during the detox, like it's okay, you know. For me, I use like a hot water bottle. I snuggle up. I don't know if that's the reason why you're asking about higher fat, and if you want, you can kind of specify why you're asking about that. That would be kind of interesting. It's either that you're looking to warm up a little bit, you're either looking to put on muscle mass. I mean, while we're healing, we don't really look at building at the same time, but if it's a lifestyle, for sure, like a lot of raw vegan bodybuilders that I've researched, like Stephen Arlen, Raw Power is his book, you know, these kind of people, they're relying heavily on more seeds and nuts for a protein source. But we know that, you know, we don't use protein. Humans do not use protein. We need amino acids. So we have to break proteins down, and that's a lot of work for the body. If you're looking to heal, if you're suffering from any sort of poor health symptoms, I would say it's best to go away from those kind of heavier, more dense foods, we could put in quotation. Like, I mean, they're foods for sure, because in nature, think about nuts, right? In nature, you grab a nut, like if we were back in like caveman days and we came across a nut, right? It would be a lot of effort. You would have to break each one. You know what it's like even using a nutcracker. It's a lot of work, right?
You can't just grab a bag and binge on the bag.
A lot of these.
Yeah, sorry, I was just saying you can't just grab a bag.
You know, it's just growing there. Exactly. So I hope that kind of answers the question. There's other reasons too people would ask about higher fat. Let's see. Oh, emotional reasons. Like, you know, it's a little more comforting to eat a little bit denser foods sometimes. Did I break out?
I hear you. Okay, so hopefully she'll figure that out. Yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed all of that, and that answered some of your questions and gave you some insight on a raw food diet and a cleansing diet, and how to let the body heal more naturally with the raw foods, with the fruit. And just reconnecting with Jin here. Hopefully you will work to the end of the call now.
Oh my goodness, I've never had so much trouble in my life, guys. Maybe this is a powerful call, you know? It's like attracting some negative
Maybe
energy.
they're trying to shut us down.
Do not share what you know, from your heart. Yeah, just in terms of the comfort foods, like I think it's okay, guys. Like the first 3 days of this raw food challenge that we're doing, you know, join our Facebook group if you're just coming on the call, #EndOfMayRaw, and we're there to offer further care and support during these times if anyone's looking to heal any poor health symptoms. But for me, like the first few days, I was going a little heavier. I was blending up walnuts and putting some garlic in there in my Vitamix and making beautiful dressings for my evening salad. And then out of nowhere yesterday, I just felt inspired to just like only eat fruit, because I got my Miami fruit order, and like, guys, I'm like treating myself to sour sop and like the highest quality fruit. So you're just satisfied. Like when you eat the fruits that have been properly tree ripened, like this baby, you know, you're gonna get all the nutrients that you need. It's filled with antioxidants, vitamins, minerals. So your body doesn't really have cravings. The problem is we're eating fruit that is not nutritionally dense because they're picking it before it's ripe and then they're shipping it here. So we're having another question.
Yeah, quality is very important.
What do you think? But did you want to say something else, or should we answer this question?
Are you talking all about feeling good? I don't think it's a question. I think he was just saying that that a lot of people, especially fruitarians, are pretty against fat, but he feels that it's good in fats is good, especially for the brain, like I mentioned. So yeah, but like Jin was saying, it's all about quality. Quality is important. When you have quality fruit and you're eating all this quality fruit every day, you won't crave as much fat. You won't even crave as many greens because you're getting the minerals and the stuff that's in the fruit that's grown in mineral-rich soil as well. So it's about quality. Right now, I'm really blessed to found a link on tropical fruits, and I brought these beautiful sugar mangoes, these beautiful Nama bananas. They're way more satisfying. Like, if you're used to regular Cavendish bananas in the grocery store, you won't know what I'm talking about. People might think bananas are boring. That's because you only know the Cavendish kind. But there's so many kinds of bananas out there, and if you're eating them from Miami Fruit or the tropics, you'll be so much more satisfied, and you'll want to eat more. You can eat them as a meal. So that's all I want to say on that. I guess Jeanette is having some connection issues. But if you guys have any questions, if people who have just joined in, let's see. Richard has another question. What about eating some raw mushrooms? Oh, Culture J asked that earlier too. If they're okay to eat. There's people that say raw mushrooms are not the greatest for us in high amounts raw. Well, I also think that you wouldn't want to use mushrooms as a staple. And raw, personally, a lot of times when I eat them, sometimes I'll see it in my bowels, so I know it doesn't digest as well when you just eat them raw. So I think you would have to either really chew them properly. I feel called to dry them, and you use them in a powder form, or just if they're dry, I feel they can more easily be absorbed as opposed to just raw. But I feel like cooked is the same. Cooked is just as bad. So I like to use them sometimes as a treat in my salads, some mushrooms. But yeah, Jin, what do you think about eating raw mushroom?
Yeah, I was saying in our group the other day, Samara, a really important question.